Hi there guys, Outlaw Dolphin here, and we're going to continue our Dragon Age Inquisition, picking up where we left off in the Western Approach, after we just encountered the Venatori agent, Lord Edmond of Tyrantium, or Tyrantium? I can't remember. Anyway, we just slowly scuppered his plans of turning wardens into followers with demon followers. Right now we're going to continue the Western Approach and continue to gather resources and unlock the operations that we need to further on the what we need to do in the Western Approach. So we're going to take Griffin Wing Keep, then we have a few other quests to carry on, and we also have a dragon researcher to encounter. So, continue! Okie dokie, and continuing on with Blackwall, Cole, and Solus. We're going to straight to gather the Serpent Stone I see here, which is a metal we no longer need, but always helps to have something fill in the gaps when we're doing schematics, even if it is Serpent Stone. We do have a camp to unlock just at that small ruin that we see there. And then Griffin Wing Keep is just those spires you see poking over the hill. I am going to be looking for the denizens and creatures of this land, as we do need to get lucky with some drops for quests, particularly that of the likes of research supplies and something and quillback intestines, because there's a researcher off in that direction there, just through that crevice there, and he's a bit of an odd one, considering how he's the only one who survived of his camp.
Inquisitor, I've something for you.
You have nothing for me. Straight for the shield. The Western Approach is a fairly straightforward area, though it can be tricky. I suspect it will be, considering even though the weapon I'm using is that of high damage, it's made with a metal that isn't really giving it the best it can do. We're going to go... There are two ways you can attack Griffin Wing Keep. We're going to go with doorway number 2, which is also part of the mineral run, because there are some items behind there that you may not find if you go through the front door. Plus you also see signs of just what the Venatori do when they're on the losing side. It's relatively quite smart. Oh no. Not me again. Oh, I'm getting really unlucky with that. I am still looking for the items that I need so I can become a Knight Enchanter. Although, Smouldering Core, not what I needed. I was tempted. I have made Rift Mages, which is exactly what Solus does. And even that, when fighting dragons, is amazing. because Solus has this ability to punch with a fist made of the veil, which is great against damaging guard, which if you fight a dragon which always buffs itself with guard, then that's what you want, to knock it all down. So there it is. That is the back entrance. We're just going to go further along. Should be... yeah, there's some lazurite up by the door. Well, I say door. By the barrier. We're just going to go along here and pick up this Paragon's Luster, because it's what I need. Almost everyone's stuff is going to be made out of Paragon's Luster by the time we get back to Skyhold. And there's absolutely no reason why there shouldn't be, because it's a good metal for this area. It's tier 2, it's plentiful, you can pretty much use this metal to mass produce on a grand scale. And I think I'm going to do that because the people that I want to take to Adamant will be Cassandra, Vivienne, and Varric. Because if you don't take Varric to... if you don't take Varric to Adamant, you're missing out on some dialogue on his part per the cutscenes. I'm kind of looking forward to Adamant in this playthrough because, once again, that will be the revelation of discovering everything that we've been believing when we find out exactly. We already know kind of what the mark is on our hand. That's when you see it, that's when you're told, not just by the bad guy, but by some of the other good guys as well. There we go, so we're going to take this mosaic piece, not that I need it. I'm going to claim. The ancient cistern stinks like rotting meat. And as you can see, there's a body just underneath there. I think there are 2 in the water actually, or 3. There is quite a few. But most clearly this one up here. Since we came to the western approach, the Venatori have been withdrawing from the area. Thus, they have chucked bodies of the deceased in here to poison the well underneath, to make it to make Griffinwing Keep less of a desirable target, less tactical. Hi there. Absolutely makes no difference whatsoever which way you go. It just means whether you have to break down the gate or not. You do bypass some of the enemies, but we're going to fight them anyway.
It will be my pleasure.
If I can. I should be able to. Thought I could still break that door, but oh well. Now, there is a sort of mini-boss in here, as you can imagine. And he should be carrying an item very much important to anyone. There you are. Oh, mate. He got disintegrated.
We serve Inquisition, in life and in death.
Uh-oh, there's a mage up there, I forgot. Even though that guy with the shield is trying to walk off. I'm literally getting hit on all sides. I'm getting hit by the archer, I'm getting hit by the mage. And for some reason they open the door. We have no way of getting through. They open the door once we defeat everyone. It's just like, okay, you want to lose then? Jesus. Who opens the door to the enemy? Unless you're Trojans. Let's just heal up.
ready to serve.
There we go. Macrinus. He just got put on his arse. And we're going to mark the... Well, I wonder. Yeah, we're definitely going to do these 4 guys.
Life is nothing. He will bleed.
And he dead. Still want to be careful of the fire runes. Solus.
I join your glory.
There we go. I think we're done.
It's a solid fortress. The Inquisition could make use of it.
Yes, we can, and yes, we will. There we go. So, Cowl of the Overseer. It's not one thing we'll be using, even though it does have good resistances for this area. What we want is this. Now, I know it is called Kitty's Collar, and yes, it does do minus 100% damage resistance. But you have a Guardian Spirit that blocks 1 melee attack every 30 seconds. On dying, you have a 75% chance to heal for half your health, and you resist a lethal strike once every 60 seconds. So you get like a little Guardian Angel that will literally, as an attacker goes to hit you, they will be put on their arse by like literally a glass statue that forms in front of you. It's very useful and one I will be using. And we will read the story tied to it as we put it on. There we go. A narrow leather band embossed with a design popular to Hunleith some years ago. A tuft of orange fur is caught in the buckle. Spirits whisper across the veil, but their voices are unclear. Briefly, they conjure the memory of a little girl. There we go. Let's see if there's anything else I want to use. Blizzard Ring, Flashfire Ring, Winter's Grasp, Token of the Pet. Nah. So that is a pretty darn useful item, no matter what people tell you. It is darn useful. And we're going to go set up for the Inquisition in this area. This will give us the second operation that we need to also make the area ours. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. Do not want the Asterium, but where's the flag? There it is. You'll see snakes represent Venatori.
Inquisitor, you're early. We've barely been set up a week. I have a patrol out at the moment. Some of the men cited darkspawn in the area. I have reports that bandits have taken up squatting in the fortress the wardens abandoned. We're reasonably well entrenched here, but the keeping water supply has been problematic. It's causing delays. I'll prepare the troops for inspection at once.
So as I think his name is Rylan. As Rylan tells you, he's barely been set up a week. So time does seem to pass as you claim these fortresses. So we have to believe that a week has just passed. We've been in the Western Approach for a week. Okie dokie. Tell me about the Darkspawn.
What can you tell me about the Darkspawn in the area?
The darkspawn seem to have emerged since we took the keep. I've warned the troops not to engage unless absolutely necessary. We don't need a blight in the ranks. We have to find whatever hole the monsters came from and seal it.
What's this about bandits?
Report. What's the situation in the Warden's fortress?
Bandits moved in. Worse than quillbacks, if you ask me. They're holed up in there, using it as a base to strike at our supply caravans. Blasted scavengers.
And you have a problem with the water supply.
What's wrong with the water supply?
The fort's well is full of garbage. Blasted Venatori threw corpses in there. There's an oasis nearby, but a Vargist claimed it. Doing a decent job of keeping us away, too. 4 soldiers have already fallen to venom and claws. We'll need reinforcements to drive the monster out.
And give me a status report.
Report, Captain. What's the situation in the western approach?
I've had scouts investigate that red lyrium operation you smashed. I don't think anyone's getting into that cave anytime soon.
That's good to hear.
Carry on, Captain.
Yes, Inquisitor.
So we're going to make our way, and we're going to be fighting some Darkspawn in order to claim the second operation. Once I've done that, we're going to head, if I look at the map and I claim this loot, we're going to head south and deal with some bandits. And a few more demons, because there's always demons. Now, once you head out of the Griffin Wing Keep and you want to deal with the Darkspawn, you will have to immediately head north into the Sulphur Pit. You may or may not see Darkspawn as you do this, but you're going to head towards the flag, towards this broken or unfinished wooden bridge.
We have to turn back.
The Darkspawn got through. I'll have to see what our people at Skyhold can do.
So the Darkspawn are coming from that area, full of the sulphur smog. They appear to be immune and are travelling through it, as where we can't, so we have to somehow stop the gas from filling up. If you're wondering if that door down there looks similar, you would be correct. It's one identical to where we spawn, or where we first turn up in the western approach on the other side. It appears to be that beyond those doors is some kind of a keep of some kind, of some measure, and a kind of a watchtower on top of the hill. You can just see the sulphur gases everywhere. So you can kind of see why it's called Griffin Wing Keep, even though from this perspective it actually looks like the head of a lion and not that of an eagle, even though a griffin is that of, or is it? No, a lion is an eagle's head with a lion's body? I don't know, it seems to be depicting the opposite there, which is kind of odd. Okay, so where we were when we encountered Lord Livius Element of Virantium, in the Grey Warden fort that the Grey Wardens abandoned, that is where the bandits have started to spawn in, so they're directly ahead of us. So not much further to go for them. You don't have to go all the way in, it's just within this first part that you kind of skip when you enter the cutscene. You just kind of seem to not bother too much about it, because you get to this archway here and then you're all of a sudden on the steps in front of us. You kind of miss that there is kind of like a courtyard of some measure. These are the bandits, or raiders. These are just simple raiders. They're not connected to the White Claw that are further south. As Knight Commander Ryland puts it, they're just scavengers. They don't seem to have that many in the way of supplies for me either, which is kind of bothersome. I haven't seen any Quillbacks either, which is also annoying. But that's his life. And would you look at that? The Serpent Stone's back already. There we go, I'll settle for that. There you go, so there's a rift on the plane. Quillbacks and such would often spawn down those steps. I can't seem to see any. We're going to head straight for the rift in front of us. I'm going to close that one up. Is that demon going to move in my direction? Nope. He's going to make himself look big. And there we go. Oh my god, I've been set on fire. Oh, be lucky. Nope. If you're wondering, the item I'm looking out for is Wisp Essence. Can't seem to find it. I know where to go to look for it, it just would be nice if I didn't have to go there. Looks like I'm going to have to do some farming off camera. There's some serpent stone there, there's some more luster here. We're going to literally have hundreds of pieces of luster when we get back. And it's good too because that's going to be armoring everyone going into the fight at Adamant. And hopefully I can pick up some Fade Touched as well. But if I don't, I'm not too bothered. Is there still yet more? Oh, deep mushroom. Don't need that. Viridium, I'll take it. Now there is another camp up here which we can grab, which will be useful. Because we will be back and forth visiting this gentleman. There is a treasure back here. Two, in fact. Nothing... Like I said, these treasures are nothing worth interesting, but it's all money, so we all win.
Inquisitor, if you have a moment.
There we go. Griffin Wing Monument. In honor of the Wings of Adamant, the brave griffins who gave their lives in service to keep the blight at bay. In war, victory. In peace, vigilance. In death, sacrifice. So this area is heavily tied to the Wardens. Perhaps even Griffin Wing Keep itself used to be a Warden stronghold. And here we meet the Researcher.
It's been so long since I've spoken to anyone. Have you come to observe the wildlife too?
I think I found your supplies. A dead man out in the desert had these on him.
Dead? Blessed Andraste. What about Marcus or Jeannette? This is terrible news. I am Frédéric of Serrault, foremost researcher of draconology in Orlais. I came here with an expedition from the university. But the others are all missing, and our work has been halted. White Claw raiders have made off with much of our supplies. You will help me reclaim the equipment, will you not? You will champion the advancement of science.
I've already found your supplies.
I have the supplies you were waiting for right here.
But some of our equipment is still missing. If you happen to find more of it, please let me know.
Okay, so we need to find more of his supplies. There's no point in talking to him much at the moment until we do that. So we just need 2 more supplies. The point of conversation we want to reach with Frederic of Ceru is the point about a book that we found in the Still Ruins. Because they're part of his quest to find a tome on draconology. We've already found it, because I knew it was there, so I don't particularly like going back and forth on stuff like that, because there's really no point. So you just tend to pick it up because you know you'll need it later. That is going to have to be also sorted out by a operation on the war table. It's a fairly straightforward one and doesn't really take that long. There we go, and this ruin that we find here is going to contain another rift that we will gladly dispose of.
We should look around.
There we go, none too hard. There you go, and as you also see our radar pulsing, there are some items in the area that we need to collect. One of them is important to Grey Wardens, the other is not. There we go, the Grey Warden's sword.
Good find.
Which Blackwall will be happy that we picked up. And then the other item should be that of little interest to us, but I think it's just a small collectible. Yep, just a bottle of whiskey. There's nothing else of interest here, apart from the minerals, which, let's face it, I'm always going to be picking them up. There we go, then our next point of interest was a small cave that we spotted on our way up here. There's that one directly ahead of us. And then we'll be going to a mining operation towards the east. There you go, as you can see there's a lot of chantry symbols around this area. This is the place, this is the cave that all the chantry symbols will lead you to. It appears to be a refuge of mages who, when we get inside, must have been tampering with demon summoning, as opposed to that of blood magic, although we will confirm once we head in. Rebel Mage's note. It just keeps staring at me. I had to go. I believe he's either talking about the statues in the area. The statues of what I believe are warriors of some nature. Or I believe he was talking about the demons, which we'll understand as to why he may have been talking about demons. There we go, so on the Chantry Trail. Okay, so there's another mosaic piece I don't need. And there's a few pieces to read here, and some loot. There's a full set of Templar armor there. It's hard to get a good light on this. This could also be what he meant by staring. I can't quite see what this gold idol is because the lighting in here is just a bit poor. But we will understand what was going on in here. A Chantry logbook. So far, we cannot confirm that Pharamond has had any luck attracting spirits at all. It may not be possible for spirits in the Fade to even see someone who has so long been tranquil. He wishes to continue the experiments. We will stay and observe until he is ready to leave. Yeah, so someone's trying to reverse tranquility, which once we reach a certain area, a certain part of the game, we will learn that that is actually possible. But it's hard to really understand what these sarcophagi are actually doing here. The creation of a phylactery. And good grief. Well, if we're going to read this, might as well scroll all the way to the bottom. We let the boy rest. The first night they brought him to the White Spire, I convinced Knight Commander Belrose to delay the ritual till the morning. The journey was long, and the lad could barely keep his eyes open, poor thing. I was certain escape was the furthest thing from his mind. Medine found him a clean cot in with the other young apprentices, and when I came in with his supper, he was already fast asleep. In the morning, I showed Medine how the phial was to be prepared. First, a simple charm to preserve and protect the glass, then a spell to keep the blood from forming dark clots. The last step could only be completed with the apprentice present. I sent a young Templar recruit off with the message that we were ready. The boy was escorted to the chamber by Belrose himself. I could tell he had just been awakened. There was a smear of dirt from his face, perhaps from the road. I called the boy to me and cleaned his cheek with my sleeve, as I explained the ritual. "We have to take your blood," I said, "because you're special, and we don't want you to be lost. If it happens, the blood will allow us to find you and bring you home again." I let Medine take the lancet this time. The tremor in my hands was worse that day, and I didn't want to make a deep cut. I held the boy close, and Medine made a small neat incision on his palm, exactly as instructed. I felt the boy struggle and start to cry. He tried to pull away, but Medine gripped his hand firmly, letting the blood run into the phial. Then Medine cast a spell like we practiced. Within the phial, the blood churned and grew bright, in the essence of the mage to whom it was bound. It was done. Another phylactery, another link forged. He was leashed to the White Spire. The boy could not look away from the glow. He was enthralled, and the pain and the tears were forgotten. "See, this is magic," I said to him. "When you're older, I will teach you." Belrose let the boy hold his phylactery for several minutes before he locked it away in the chamber. From the Memoirs of Enchanter Reva, Clay 872, Blessed. Oh, 941. It's hard to figure out the ages of Dragon Age. It's hard to really understand how long ago 872, the Blessed Age, was. Like, if you do the math, it could be 59 years ago. But it's hard to believe that Phylacteries is only that old. Phylacteries seem a lot older, and the practice seems a lot older than that. So it's a bit of an odd one to create actual timelines. I'm sure there are timelines in the lore. I'm sure BioWare have created a thorough network of history and theoretics for this game. It has had free installations after all. There are people who thrust their imagination into filling the gaps. So I'm sure if you research it, it is somewhere. But it's not research I've done. So now we're going to head right up for the mining, the mine. Just going to call it the mine. There are some resources along the way, and hopefully some raiders in the way. Could do with some chances of finding some more research supplies. Even though I do know where we can find some. Because I do know where raiders tend to spawn. Because hopefully there's some loot lying around that actually contains it. Just minerals. I sound like I'm complaining, I'm not. It's just I know when I have to be lucky with how items drop, I would rather it happen a lot quicker. There we go, some luster. We're also going to find a full set of armor in here as well, one that I will probably give to Cassandra. Just because it'll be useful. And here's a tome. This is also another tome that Vivienne has sent us on our way to find. Now we just need to find one more. It's in the Exalted Plains. We're not going there anytime soon. It's a big, annoying area. It's probably one area I'll leave until last. It's that annoying.
Grey Wardens.
There we go. I'm going to do some rock climbing. Because there's lazurite everywhere. It's almost annoying to me that there hasn't been more resistance than that we've had already. Oh, would you look at that? Illyrium mine. Varric slightly approves, even though he has no idea what we just did. There we go, so there's a shit ton of money here. And a note. Ancient Warden logbook. So close. We nearly reached him. Made it down to what looked like a dwarven thaig, where the song was actually audible. Real and thrumming through the air. Not just in our heads. It rattled through the Lyrium pillars and shook the earth beneath our feet to its dreadful tempo. We lost 30 men in the last cave-in, and the Warden Commander is abandoning the mission. I try to argue, one last push, but the rock is too unstable down there. We'll have to find another archdemon somewhere more solid. That is incredibly odd. They literally chased an archdemon here. So that must be from a blight long time ago. There we go, there's some Amrita vein, that's a herb. There we go. So the master work and a cleansing oh, that's nice. That is nice indeed. Masterwork Vanguard Mail. We're going to give that to Cassandra because it's cheap, like the budgie. It just means I don't have to spend resources making armor. I can put all the Paragon's Luster we've got into making weapons and armor for other people. We're going to claim the quarry that's down here, and also pick up... there are actually 2 points of interest here. One, Shimmerstone Mine. The ground here trembles slightly underfoot. This is clearly abandoned for that very reason. We're going to claim the quarry for everything that we need to do. And there's some lazurite. 6 in fact. There we go. So, more or less done in this area for now. We won't have to come back to this mine anytime soon. However, we will come back to this area at some point because we kind of have to fight a dragon here.
They say you're a demon.
Yes. Or spirit. I want it to be spirit.
Either way, I know you're dangerous.
Yes. Like you.
What?
A sack on the side of the road, struggling. The boy runs from it, crying.
Fine. So you're dangerous and insane.
You would stop it if you could. That is enough. But don't do it again.
Cole is a very interesting person. His ability to sense compassion in others and to want to heal hurt has to be hurt, as he puts it. He can only see when people are suffering. So whenever someone tries to cover up, say, regret or a mistake, or like how Dorian feels betrayed by his father for reasons, and he's just like, you know, will you get out of my head? And he's just like, no, I have to help you. It's just, you really don't. Oh. Cole is somewhat adorable and expertly voiced by James Norton, of all people. It was quite a surprise when I found out that James Norton did voice acting. It's mostly stuck to doing British dramas like Grantchester, and I think most recently he's in McMafia. So it's quite surprising what you find people doing. Shortcut. Scratched into the wood is the following message. Can I get you a ladder to get off my back? Odd. There we go. So we're now in the spring, which Commander Ryland would like to obtain. Only he can't, because there's a Vargust here. And Vargust is somewhat like a Wyvern. It's all part of the Draconic family. Wyverns, Gurguts. There's so many different types of dragon in this game. But it's not that which is totally difficult to beat. It will be annoying, considering my level. You do find Inquisition soldiers fighting it already. It's not exactly vulnerable. It's vulnerable to fire. Yeah, there we go. And ice. There we go.
Inquisitor.
There we go. So now that we've done that, we will have another operation to claim this spring more formally. But this will then create another an operation thereafter, considering we've just displaced Vargasts, and I think they start to attack local village. Well, not local villages, but I think they go elsewhere and cause yet more trouble, and that we also have to fix. So now we're on the lookout for raiders. Hopefully it won't take us too long. So I've been unlucky with the wildlife as well. There's virtually no critters out here at all. So that's not useful at all, is it? I think what I might do once I've found enough research supplies, we will take a step back and maybe just warp back in after confirming the 2 operations that we need to do in order to cross the sulfur. Oh, there's some loot here. Hey, research supplies.
The name on the manifest is Frederick of Seralt. Didn't we meet him?
Yes, we did. So now we just need 1 more research supplies and we can head back to Frederick of Seralt. It doesn't hurt that we can pick up more supplies as well. More supplies for us, anyway. We just need to be lucky with a party of raiders. Which is something I don't think we're going to get. Looks like I might have to step out and step back into the world after all. Okie dokie. Since so I've just unlocked all the operations that I need in order to further our mission in the Western Approach, and it seems to be that that's also fixed why creatures and raiders were not spawning. I already have the supplies I need to go back to Frederick, so I'm not going to do that straight away, seeing as how that will imply we concentrate all our means into one area. What we're actually going to do is discover the source of Darkspawn first, because that's going to be more fun and it will take us a little bit longer. Plus, I'm in control, so haha.
Sarah.
There we go, plus we can see the solution that the Inquisition found for crossing the sulfur pits was building chambers for the gas to collect in. This has thus given us the means to cross the pit without being poisoned. It also gives reveals a cave just to the right here, so we're going to go look in there. And I believe, if I remember correctly, there is a unique shield in here. I could be wrong. I haven't been in here for a long time. Definitely spiders, though. Oh, Buster nearly walked right past it. And so once again, you can see that this is clearly a Chantry hideout. Oh, I've not got a clue where that statue is meant to be, though. The thing in the dark. This statue is oddly warm to the touch and shivers slightly, as though it may have a pulse. Very odd. We're going to take a look in here. Yep, there we go. Aegis of the Order. That's a unique little shield and worth holding on to. That'll probably also be something I give to Cassandra because it's easy. And the stats are quite good on it. So I won't have to make her a nice shield. Even though making her stuff would be better and would last a lot longer. But adamant is not the most difficult part of the story. So it's all the equipment I find now is probably stuff I will use for it. I'll probably make myself some new stuff, and I'm definitely going to give... I definitely need to upgrade Varric. Because Bianca is certainly something you need to look after. You need to make sure that Varric can still do the damage wherever he goes. His leveling up won't do the trick. And there's our first Darkspawn. There we go, and everyone's just laying waste.
Where did they come from?
We should find out. This is exactly what the Wardens are supposed to prevent.
There you go, you do just tend to see them meandering about. And there's something breathing fire over there. Something is attacking Inquisition soldiers.
Don't worry, Your Worship. We'll hold the bridge against anything.
There we go, and we've finished the bridge which will allow us to cross here. This is exactly where the Darkspawn are coming from. There are a few supplies up here we can use. There's also a rune somewhere in the ruin. And this will take us on a somewhat journey of no return. It will take us within the area that we can't.
But different, singing, swinging, sighting. He couldn't scream when he died. He felt nothing and then too much.
Nice. He's talking about the Ocularum. There's a ton of Lazarite here, and there's also a ton of Darkspawn. This area is worth it, as some of the resources that Darkspawn drop is particularly useful, although they are particularly difficult to kill. Level 12, and we should be within the same range as well. Only that we're probably not doing the damage that we should be. But that doesn't mean that we won't survive, all four of us. Plus, I've got all the potions I need. We should find this a bit of a challenge, but still doable. We just need to get past these alphas. The alphas are the only real trouble in our way, because they do literally take all four of us to kill it. There we go, there was some higher weave, which is a nice little fabric to get our hands on when you're a mage. So Fennec Fur, God, there's a lot of corpses that have spawned near me. And so I killed 2 Fennecs in that. Somehow. Loot. Ghoul saws, nice. Fade touched lazarite. I'm curious as to what that is. Sadly, when we pick up Fade Touched, we can't exactly go into our inventory and take a look at it. It just seems to disappear in with the rest of the same item. Let's put that. Nope. You'll know that the... God, that did a lot of damage, that one arrow. You'll know that the kitty's collar is working, because 1, you'll see it, but if you run away like I did, you'll hear a slight chink, like hitting 2 pieces of metal together, or almost like porcelain. Literally, you'll hear like a little tink, and that thing that tried to hit you will be put on its backside. So we have a few ladders to climb up here. Once again, there's an Asterium up here, so if you're having trouble with the Asteriums in this part of the land, you probably need to come up here and just do this one. It's not particularly hidden, but it's still easy to miss. All the lazarite in the world. And this place is where the Darkspawn are coming from. They do tend to spawn here, so we do want to be in and out without them popping up, because there will be once again another alpha, and we do need to push past the alphas before they... Oh, and I'm getting distracted by all this lazurite out here. Pray they don't spawn when I have my back turned, because the sooner we can enter the ruin, the better. Yeah, there's a piece of lazurite there, but we're not going to miss it. We've already picked up so much. There we go. And this place is called Coracavus. Or unless if you're feeling particularly to Vinter, it's probably called Caracavus, just to make the syllables roll off the tongue. And as soon as you turn the corner, there's a shit ton of darkspawn. As you can see, we tend to cut through them pretty easily, so long as they're not alphas. Although there is one area that's going to be particularly difficult. Oh, and the good thing is that every time you kill Darkspawn, Blackwall approves. So if you want to be Blackwall's friend, just take him Darkspawn hunting. Blackwall's companion quest is something I want to look into doing, as it does have trespasser implications for the final DLC, as does Iron Ball, and so does Coal. They kind of all do, but some more interesting than others. I won't say important, because that depends from person to person. This is something I consider to be a Dark Souls reference, even though it's not a bonfire, but it is a sword, kind of like a... does kind of look like a bonfire from some perspective. Although not all, I'm guaranteed people will disagree with me, but that's my opinion. So there's Veil Fire down here, so there's quite clearly a room down here too. A blood-spattered note. The giants are half feral. There's no room for a weak hand. One is enough to move debris during excavation, but keep it under control. You don't need the whole building coming down. Oh, look what happened.
Giants as beasts of burden. It's mad.
They're very strong and very angry.
It almost makes sense, but it's still very stupid. Although, have you not met the Venatori? Secret tongue of slaves. Okie-dokie. Despite widespread illiteracy, Tevinter's slaves have developed a series of small pictograms that they scrawl on walls or under furniture, hidden from their uncaring owners. Regional variations make deciphering them a unique challenge. In one city, the sign of a clenched fist means a murderous master. In another, the same symbol indicates a harsh slave owner, but not one with a fatal temper. The ruling classes, general indifference to the moods and fears of their slave, make the pictorial argot an important method of communication. It is therefore all the more strange. So many Tevinter comedies centre around farcical misunderstanding of a sloppily written sigil, where witty slaves scramble to subvert blame in time to avoid beheading. Perhaps it comforts Tevinter's well-to-do to believe that their property is only this clever and human in fiction. From the lesson book by Besher of Rivain. So it appears that even though slaves can't read, they found a way to communicate that bamboozles their masters. You get the option to... ah, there it is. I was getting the option to loot, but wasn't looting. There you go. So, as you can tell by the items we're picking up, these are indeed the bodies and remains of slaves. believe the rune that we are looking for is back here. There it is on the floor. Ancient penal bracelet. A tooth-shaped gem. And there we just unlocked the Master's Spirit rune. It's useful if you're adept at delivering spirit damage. Spirit damage is kind of like the one-size-fits-all kind of damage rune. So it kind of does damage to everything apart from demons. Whereas there is a particular demon slaying rune, and I always forget that you walk past this doorway and a darkspawn will literally just jump out at you. Don't need that torch again. And this is the gate that we can cover up that will stop darkspawn from spawning. It's the only thing, because I'm a mage that is based solely on attacking for now, until I become a knight enchanter, I really do need the barrier that Solus creates. Otherwise, the damage that's done to me is pretty darn awful.
Someone was digging here.
There we go. So now we need to locate those responsible for the excavation, because it's unlikely that the Tevinter types hung around when things turned shit. And there's an alpha over there. I'm going to try and hit him. I'm going to try and hit him with Mark of the Rift when he comes to attack me. I really do need to... There we go. I can try and lure him. If I can try and angle it so that I can get a few people in. There we go. And down he goes. Sweet. He's all those alphas. They're always going to be a pest, and they were going to annoy me. This one would have annoyed me like sin with all the others about if I didn't use Mark of the Rift, if I didn't have it available to me. But I do. There's a few doors around here I can't open because I don't have deft hands and fine tools. It's a tad unfortunate, but I can't remember if there is anything really of interest behind those doors apart from more
What was that?
treasure. There we go. That should be it for the Darkspawn. Now we have to deal with Tevinters. Because we are hot on the trail. A wrapped prison key. There was nothing to indicate this place was built over an old deep roads entrance. While complications with Darkspawn were unfortunate, we've dealt with the pack that emerged, and I will hear no further talk of it. We have enough to secure the south dig site. You will continue the work on the corridors, and you will do so without complaint. Alternatively, we could use you as a distraction should more Darkspawn hinder our efforts. You serve Corypheus either way. Service.
Venatori, they've been excavating. I take it breaking into Darkspawn tunnels wasn't part of the plan.
Nope.
If their plan is to be a thorn in our side, they're doing just fine.
There you go, what we got here? Some Vandal Aria. And hello.
Not what I wanted to to see.
It's not what I wanted to see either. Move! I hope he doesn't follow me everywhere I go. Just stick with Blackwall, and Blackwall can take the hits. I'm gonna hope to fire. Yeah, just a little bit. Eventually, if you do enough damage on one side of a giant, it will fall to the ground and become stunned. There we go. Go. Vulnerable to ice and lightning. Fire damage is a resistance, if I'm right. Yeah. Still does some high critical damage, but lightning and cold is where you want to stick with it. Oh no. And down we go.
Not exactly the fight I was expecting when we got here. At least we got
Nope, but there you go. So we're going to take the gold and the ruby. We're going to leave the others behind because we are running out of space. We're running out of room inventory wise. So we're just going to be a bit picky and choosy on what we pick up from now on. I don't think I can open... Oh, I can open that door. Western approach, south exit. Track down... No. I don't think that's the direction I want to go. Or is it? It might be. I think it is. Yeah, it is. I'm just forgetting. Could have sworn I wanted to go west. There we go. Once we find that camp,
that can't be good.
I think there are 3 dragons in this area. And this one is surrounded by Venatori. And he jumped on my ass. Thank God I had that barrier. Uh-oh. Please don't throw that at me. Yay. This giant is certainly interested in me. He's completely and utterly smacked me with that rock. Another one. Oh look, there's Vargas. Oh good. Have a fireball.
You can't hurt me.
There we go, and of course we're going to be wanting the Vargas scales. Whoa! Vargas almost look like they're covered in feathers as opposed to scales. Right, so we could go down that way and we'll fight some more Venatori and another giant. Well, we don't need to do that. We need to go into the opposite direction and track down Service. If we stick to this side, particularly if we can manage to get up there. There's some loot here. So we want to just manage to make our way round. Because there's a rift up here. deal with this rage demon right quick. There we go. There's Kitty's collars working. That kind of mysterious figure that kind of takes the hit for you. The good thing is that being... oh god. Away. It does happen once the 30 seconds have passed. He's going to hit me. Once the 30 seconds pass, it does... oh, I'm just going to have to take this one. Once the 30 seconds do pass, it does happen quite regularly. It's like literally the first hit that hits you. It blocks it, and then literally 30 seconds it will do it again. There is no... it's almost like it will. Almost like there's no sense of chance to it. It will just happen. It's not foolproof, but trust me, it can save your ass a few times. There's some more to Vinter in my way. There we go. Cole just literally just dealt with everyone. There we go. So service is in there. There's another ocularum here. There's a campsite further south. This is more of a... that's more of a Cassandra quest, which we have not unlocked yet. It's not one I'm particularly keen on doing, because it can take its good long time. It will mean going to a lot of areas just for literally killing people that's on a bit of a hit list of hers. So we just want to get up one level and then double back, because if we walk too far north we'll wander out of the area. But we want to head in here, because this is where we find Service, who's actually up there, next to the Venatori marksman. There was that sound again, that little ting. There we go, so now we just need to take down the marksman. Ow. No, 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 no. We'll use Mark of the Rift on this guy, because he nearly killed me.
What will his masters do when they learn his efforts here failed, I wonder?
There we go, so we just need to deal with this rogue across the way. We can't pick up too much loot here, because we need to sell some of it. We'll just simply take the gold. Even though it is purple, but like I said, these things are not really that expensive. Oh, he's fallen on the stairs below. Yeah, he does survive. You can talk to him. You don't really talk.
He's resilient, I'll give him that.
He's a monster, but I'm impressed he supplied so many operations this far out in the desert.
We're going to take him in alive.
Have some of the troops bring him in. I'll deal with him back at Skyhold.
And that completes that quest. You can see the radar is blinking once again. And there is this. The vial of archdemon blood.
Excellent.
Our inventory is full, god damn it. However, there is once more a rune in this area. I believe it's a type of frost rune. I'm just going to find it real quick, so I can show you guys where it is. Let's forget this entrance to the cave is down here. There it is. Yeah, it's a frost rune. Basic. Nothing too interesting, but useful if you're looking for some frost damage. It's a pretty easy one to get. There are some chests up here. We're going to claim them for the gold as opposed to their items. Should they have gold? I sure hope they do. This one doesn't. That's good to know. Sigil of Deathroot. 10% to attack, but minus to healing bonus. And nope, absolutely nothing of any interest. There are some Venatori beneath us. Let's just give them a bit of a surprise. I think I will come to a close at this point. And in the next video, I will create. I'm going to look for the items that I need to make my to find the items that I need in order to make my Knight Enchanter work, and then we will start to fight some dragons. Probably we'll probably do the quest here and fight the dragon here and complete the western approach. And then after that we'll start to fight dragons as we encounter them, because I will have a few perks to put into Knight Enchanter straight away, and I will start to make my indestructible Knight Enchanter almost immediately. Gate of Toth. This gate is carved with symbols of Toth, the old god of fire. And there we go. That's the Western Approach Part 2 complete. And in the next video we will fight a dragon. Okie dokie guys, that's the end of that Dragon Age Inquisition. And we've just finished our second part of the Western Approach. And it's pretty much all done. We just need to finish Frederick of Ceru's quest in researching high dragons. Once we do that, we will fight the high dragon he's looking for, unfortunately, but that is the way of most things. And then once we've killed the dragon, we will head to Adamant and continue the story. I just want to get my first dragon out the way with hasting almost as quickly as I possibly can. So guys, I will see you for the dragon slaying.